What happens when Hollywood royalty meets daytime television and refuses to play by the rules? In just 34 seconds, one comment would turn a friendly interview into the most explosive moment in talk show history. The studio lights were bright that morning. The audience was packed. Everyone wanted to see her. Meghan Markle was sitting on the famous couch at The View, and Sunny Hostin was ready to have what should have been a normal conversation. Sunny started with a smile. "Welcome to The View. We're so excited to have you here today." Meghan smiled back, but there was something different in her eyes. Something cold. "Thank you for having me," Meghan said, crossing her legs and leaning back like she owned the place. Sunny began with an easy question. "So, you've been very vocal about your experiences. Can you tell our audience what you've been working on lately?" Meghan's face changed. "Well, Sunny, I've been working on projects that actually matter. Projects that help people. Not just sitting around talking about other people's lives." The audience went quiet. Sunny kept her smile, but you could see her eyes narrow just a little bit. "That's wonderful," Sunny said, keeping her voice steady. "We actually do a lot of important work here too, discussing issues that affect millions of Americans every day." Meghan laughed. Not a nice laugh, a mean one. "Oh, please," Meghan said, waving her hand. "You call this work? You sit here in your comfortable chairs and gossip. I've actually lived through real hardship, real pain, something you could never understand." Whoopi Goldberg shifted in her seat. Joy Behar's mouth dropped open. The other hosts looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Sunny took a breath. She was a lawyer before she was a talk show host. She knew how to stay calm. "Meghan, I think you might be misunderstanding what we do here," Sunny said. "We have important conversations about politics, social justice, women's rights, things I'm sure you care about too." "Do you, though?" Meghan shot back. "Because from where I'm sitting, you just judge people. You tear them down. You have no idea what it's like to be scrutinized every single day, to have the entire world watching your every move." Sunny leaned forward. "Actually, Meghan, as a black woman in media, I do know what scrutiny feels like. I know what it's like to be judged for everything I say and do." Meghan's face went red. "Don't you dare compare your experience to mine. You have no idea what I've been through. The press, the family, the racism, the lies. You sit here in your safe little bubble and pretend you understand." The audience gasped. Some people started whispering to each other. This was not going the way anyone expected. Sunny's voice got firmer. "Meghan, I'm not trying to compare our experiences, but I do think you're being disrespectful to me and to this show. We invited you here as a guest." "A guest?" Meghan laughed again. "You invited me here because you needed ratings, because my name brings viewers. Don't act like you're doing me some kind of favor." Joy tried to jump in. "Meghan, maybe we should take a step back and—" "I'm not talking to you," Meghan snapped, cutting her off. "I'm talking to Sunny. Or is she not allowed to speak for herself?" Sunny put her hand up to Joy, signaling she could handle this. "I can absolutely speak for myself," Sunny said. "And what I'm going to say is that you came on this show with an agenda. You didn't come here to have a conversation. You came here to insult us." "Insult you?" Meghan's voice got louder. "I'm telling you the truth. You can't handle the truth. None of you can. You live in your little American bubble, thinking you know everything about the world, about royalty, about sacrifice." "Sacrifice?" Sunny's eyebrows went up. "Meghan, you married a prince. You lived in a palace. Yes, you faced challenges. And yes, you faced racism, which is absolutely wrong. But sitting here and belittling the work we do, belittling our experiences, that's not okay." Meghan stood up. Everyone in the studio froze. "You know what's not okay?" Meghan pointed her finger at Sunny. "What's not okay is people like you acting like you have any right to question me, any right to judge my choices. You don't know what it's like to give up everything for love." Sunny stood up too. She was calm, but her voice was strong. Meghan, you need to sit down. You're a guest on this show, and you're being incredibly disrespectful. Disrespectful? Meghan's voice echoed through the studio. I'll tell you what's disrespectful. It's disrespectful that you brought me here just to ambush me, just to make me look bad. Nobody ambushed you, Sunny said. I asked you one question about your work. One simple question, and you turned it into this. Because I'm tired, Meghan yelled. I'm tired of people like you thinking you can talk about me, analyze me, psychoanalyze me, without knowing anything about my life. The producers were starting to move toward the stage. The cameras were still rolling. The audience didn't know whether to watch or look away. Meghan, Sunny said slowly, carefully, I think you need to take a breath. We can have a civil conversation about this. Civil? Meghan grabbed her purse. There's nothing civil about this show. There's nothing civil about any of you. You make money tearing people down. That's what you do. That's all you do. Whoopi finally spoke up. Now hold on, just a minute. No, you hold on, Meghan turned to face her. You of all people should understand. You've been in this industry long enough. You know how vicious it is. How fake it is. I do know, Whoopi said. But that doesn't mean you get to come here and attack Sunny. She's been nothing but professional. Meghan turned back to Sunny. Professional? Is that what you call it? Asking loaded questions? Trying to trap me? What loaded question? Sunny asked, her voice rising now. I asked you what you've been working on. That's it. That was the question. It's not what you asked, Meghan said. It's how you asked it. The tone. The judgment in your voice. There was no judgment, Sunny said. You came here looking for a fight, and now you're upset that you started one. Meghan's face was completely red now. I came here thinking I could have an honest conversation. I came here thinking maybe, just maybe, you would be different from all the other talk shows. But you're exactly the same. We are not the same, Sunny said, her voice strong and clear. We have important discussions here. We challenge each other. We disagree. But we do it with respect. Something you clearly don't understand. Respect? Meghan threw her head back. You want to talk to me about respect? After everything your show has said about me over the years? All the commentary? All the opinions? That's our job, Sunny explained. We comment on public figures. That's what a talk show does. But when you're sitting right here, you get a chance to share your side. And instead, you're using it to attack us. Because you deserve it, Meghan shouted. All of you deserve it. You sit here day after day, running your mouths about people's lives, people's marriages, people's families, and you never think about the damage you do. The producers were definitely coming closer now. The stage manager was giving signals. Sunny took a deep breath. Meghan, I'm going to ask you one more time to please sit down and have a respectful conversation, or I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Meghan laughed. It was a bitter, angry laugh. Ask me to leave. This is unbelievable. You invite me here, you disrespect me, and now you're threatening to kick me out? I'm not threatening, Sunny said. I'm telling you, either you sit down and we talk like adults, or you need to go. Fine, Meghan grabbed her purse tighter. I'll make it easy for you. I'm leaving. I don't need this. I don't need you. I don't need any of this fake sympathy and fake concern. Nobody's being fake, Joy said quietly. All of you are fake. Meghan spun around to face the whole panel. Every single one of you. You pretend to care about women. You pretend to care about mental health. You pretend to care about racism. But when someone actually speaks their truth, when someone actually stands up for themselves, you can't handle it. Sunny walked closer to her. Meghan, speaking your truth doesn't mean being cruel. It doesn't mean insulting people who are trying to have a conversation with you. You don't want a conversation, Meghan said, her voice shaking. You want me to play nice. You want me to smile and nod and say all the right things. Well, I'm done playing that game. I'm done pretending. Then go, Sunny said, her voice firm but not mean. If that's how you feel, then go. But don't stand here and act like you're some kind of victim when you came here and attacked us first. Meghan's eyes filled with tears, but they looked like angry tears. You have no idea what it's like to be me. No idea what I've sacrificed. What I've lost. You're right, Sunny said. I don't know what it's like to be you, but I do know what it's like to be disrespected in my own workplace. And I'm not going to stand here and let it continue. Meghan started walking toward the exit. The cameras followed her. The audience was completely silent. She stopped and turned around one more time. You know what the saddest part is? I actually thought you might be different, Sunny. I thought you might understand. But you're just like all the rest of them. Sunny didn't move. She stood there, strong and steady. The saddest part is that you came here with so much anger that you couldn't even have a normal conversation. That's on you, not on me. Meghan stared at her for a long moment. Enjoy your show, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Enjoy sitting here every day, judging people, thinking you're so important. But remember, without people like me to talk about, you'd have nothing. We'd be just fine, Whoopi said from her seat. We were here long before you, and we'll be here long after. That was the final straw. Meghan turned on her heel and stormed off the stage. Her shoes clicked loudly on the floor. The door slammed behind her. The sound echoed through the studio. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The audience sat, frozen. The hosts looked at each other in disbelief. Sunny finally walked back to her seat. She sat down slowly, smoothing her dress. She looked at the camera. Well, she said, her voice still steady, still professional. That was unexpected. The audience burst into applause. They were clapping for Sunny. Clapping for how she handled herself. Clapping because she stood her ground. Joy reached over and touched Sunny's hand. You okay? Sunny nodded. I'm fine. I just can't believe that just happened. Whoopi shook her head. In all my years doing this show, I have never seen anything like that. She came here angry, Sunny said. That wasn't about us. That was about whatever she's dealing with in her own life. The audience clapped again. They could see that Sunny was the professional one, the respectful one, the one who tried to keep things civil. I gave her every chance, Sunny continued, every chance to have a real conversation. But she didn't want that. She wanted a fight. And you didn't give it to her, Joy said. You stayed calm. You stayed professional. I tried, Sunny said. I really tried to connect with her, to understand where she was coming from. But the anger, the accusations, calling us fake, saying we don't do real work, that crossed a line. Whoopi nodded. Way over the line. You handled that beautifully. The stage manager came over and whispered something to the producers. The show had to keep going. They had to move on. Sunny looked at the camera again. I want to be clear about something. We invited Meghan here in good faith. We wanted to hear her perspective. We wanted to have a meaningful conversation. What happened here today was not what any of us expected or wanted. The audience was quiet now, listening carefully. But, Sunny continued, I will not apologize for standing up for myself and for this show. We work hard. We have important conversations. And we deserve respect, just like everyone else. More applause, louder this time. I hope Meghan finds peace, Sunny said. I really do. Because that level of anger, that's not healthy. That's not productive. And it's certainly not the way to have a dialogue. Joy squeezed her hand again. You're a class act, Sunny. A total class act. I just did what anyone should do, Sunny said. I tried to be respectful, even when I wasn't getting respect back. I tried to give her space to calm down. But there's only so much you can do. Whoopi looked at the camera. And that's why we love Sunny Hostin. Everybody. Because she keeps it real. But she keeps it classy. The audience stood up. They gave Sunny a standing ovation. She looked surprised, maybe a little embarrassed, but also grateful. "Thank you," she said softly. "Thank you. But honestly, I was just doing my job. Having tough conversations, and standing up for what's right, that's what we do here." The applause continued for a long time. The producers were signaling that they needed to go to commercial, but the audience didn't want to stop clapping. Sunny wiped her eyes. Not because she was sad, because she was overwhelmed by the support. Okay, she said, laughing a little. "We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll try to get back to our regular programming." The show cut to commercial. The cameras stopped rolling. Sunny let out a long breath. "That was insane," she said to the other hosts. "Absolutely insane." "You were perfect," Joy told her. "You didn't lose your cool. You didn't yell. You just stood there and spoke the truth." "I can't believe she said we don't do real work," Sunny said, shaking her head. "We talk about voting rights, healthcare, education, everything that affects people's daily lives." Whoopi put her arm around Sunny. She was projecting. "Whatever she's angry about, it has nothing to do with you or this show. You know that, right?" "I know," Sunny said, "but it still hurts. I really did want to have a good conversation with her." "You tried," Joy said. "You gave her every opportunity. She made her choice." The producers came over to check on everyone. They were worried about Sunny. They wanted to make sure she was okay. "I'm fine," Sunny assured them. "Really, I'm just disappointed. I thought it would go differently." "You handled it perfectly," the producer said. "The audience loves you. Twitter is going crazy supporting you. Everyone can see what happened." Sunny nodded. "I'm glad the truth is clear. And that's all that matters." The stage manager gave them a 2-minute warning. The show was about to start again. Sunny touched up her makeup. She straightened her jacket. She took a sip of water. "Ready?" Whoopi asked. "Ready," Sunny said. The cameras started rolling again. The audience was still buzzing with energy from what they'd just witnessed. Sunny looked into the camera with that same professional, warm smile she always had. "Welcome back to The View," she said. "Well, that was certainly something we didn't plan for today." The audience laughed nervously. "But you know what?" Sunny continued. "This is live television. This is real life. Sometimes things don't go the way you expect. And that's okay. We move forward. We keep having important conversations. We keep showing up." More applause. "I want to thank all of you for your support," Sunny said, looking at the audience. "It means the world to me, and I want to thank my fellow hosts for having my back." Joy, Whoopi, and the others all nodded and smiled. "Now," Sunny said, "let's talk about what we were actually supposed to talk about today." The show continued. They discussed politics. They discussed current events. They laughed. They debated. They did what they always did. But everyone who watched that day would remember what happened. They would remember how Meghan came in with fire and fury, how she attacked without reason, how she refused to listen, how she accused and blamed and lashed out. And they would remember how Sunny stood tall, how she stayed professional, how she gave chances and set boundaries, how she defended herself and her colleagues without stooping to insults, how she handled someone who was completely out of control with grace and strength. In the dressing room after the show, Sunny sat quietly. She was exhausted, emotionally drained. Joy came in. "You okay, honey?" "Yeah," Sunny said, "just processing everything." "You were amazing out there," Joy said. "I mean it. Amazing." "I just can't understand why she was so angry," Sunny said. "I asked her about her work. That's all. Just a normal question." "Some people carry so much hurt that they see attacks where there aren't any," Joy said. "That's not on you." Sunny nodded slowly. "I feel bad for her, actually. To be that angry, that defensive, that must be exhausting. That's because you're a good person, Joy said. Even after all that, you still have empathy for her. I tried so hard to connect with her, Sunny said, to find common ground, but she didn't want it. You can't force someone to have a civil conversation if they don't want one, Joy said. You did everything right. Sunny looked at herself in the mirror. I hope people understand that I wasn't trying to be mean or kick her off. I was trying to protect the integrity of the show. Everyone understands, Joy assured her. Trust me, everyone sees exactly what happened. Whoopi walked in. How's our hero doing? Sunny smiled weakly. I'm not a hero. I just stood up for myself. Exactly, Whoopi said. And in this business, sometimes that's the bravest thing you can do. The three women sat together in comfortable silence. They didn't need to say much. They all understood what had happened. They all understood the pressure of live television, the unpredictability of guests, the challenge of staying professional when someone is attacking you. You know what I keep thinking about? Sunny said after a while. How she said we don't do real work. We've covered everything from Supreme Court decisions to social justice movements to women's rights. How is that not real work? She was lashing out, Whoopi said, looking for any way to hurt you. Don't take it personally. I'm trying not to, Sunny said, but it's hard. Of course it's hard, Joy said, but you proved today that you're stronger than her anger. You proved that you can stand in the fire and not burn. Sunny took a deep breath. I just hope this doesn't overshadow all the good work we do. It won't, Whoopi said firmly. If anything, it shows people exactly what we stand for. Truth, respect, and real conversation. And it shows them what we won't tolerate. Sunny finally smiled. A real smile. Thank you. Both of you. I couldn't do this without you. We're a team, Joy said. Always. The three hosts hugged. They'd been through a lot together over the years, but this was different. This was personal. This was an attack on one of their own, and they'd stood together. Outside the studio, people were already talking. The video was spreading. Everyone had an opinion. But the overwhelming response was support for Sunny. People saw what happened. They saw who started it. They saw who tried to keep the peace. They saw who lost control and who stayed strong. That moment would become one of the most talked about moments in daytime television history. Not because of the celebrity who stormed off, but because of the host who stood her ground, who refused to be disrespected in her own workplace, who showed grace under pressure, who proved that you can be strong without being cruel, firm without being mean, professional without being cold. Sunny Hostin had done something remarkable that day. She'd shown millions of viewers what real strength looks like, what real class looks like, what real professionalism looks like. And she'd done it all while someone was trying their hardest to tear her down. That's the real story. Not the tantrum, not the drama, not the walk-off. The real story is about a woman who knew her worth, defended her dignity, and never once forgot who she was or what she stood for, even when the cameras were rolling, even when millions were watching, even when it would have been easier to fight fire with fire. Sunny chose the high road, and everyone noticed.